Stock market has already crashed. Wall Street and world governments are simply pretending it hasn't. Do you remember the story of The Emperor Has No Clothes? It's a Danish fairy tale written by Hans Christian Andersen in 1837. In that story, everyone knew the emperor was naked. He knew it, his regime knew it, the people knew it, but as long as everyone pretended that he wasn't, then everyone could try to continue as if nothing was different than usual. This metaphor has since been used to connote, among other things, collective denial or ignorance of an obvious fact. Yet try as they might to pretend otherwise, he had lost his shirt, and by following his example, soon everyone else had lost theirs as well. This was their new normal. You can sense something is off, can't you? Let's run down just a few of the things I've noticed. The empty store shelves, the tens of millions of unemployed, an unlivable minimum wage, run-amok consumerism, the housing crisis with seemingly no end in sight, ever-increasing inflation with goods and products almost doubling in price, not to mention certain companies taking advantage of that inflation acceptance to raise their own prices, the massive bailouts to banks and Wall Street to the tune of trillions back in 2020, retail businesses all but disappearing. 70% of the workers in America are millennials and only own a paltry 2% of the country's wealth. And 61% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency. Increasing rates of homelessness, poverty, drug use, and despair. The probability of global war increasing every day. A pandemic that will never end. A crypto market filled with people trying to claw their way out of poverty, and those who take advantage of them. The obvious in-your-face corruption of the healthcare industry, gas and oil industry, pharmaceutical industry, news media, and political space. Everyone, whether they say it aloud or not, feels that things are spiraling out of control. It's like a derailing train in slow motion. Everyone sees the emperor has no clothes, but no one says anything. No one is doing anything. The reality of our social and economic structure does not match that which the media reports and the stock market claims to be at. These social and economic systems are moving only on inertia, propped up on government cash injections, tax loopholes, and a refusal to let its inevitable conclusion occur. It's an entire industry built up on nothing, supported by nothing, and is going to crash. And when you try to explain it to people, they go, "But how could that happen? After 2008, didn't they do something to prevent this from happening again?" Right? Most people unfortunately don't get it. When they crash the economy, they get bailed out. And then they use that money to pick up cheap stocks, foreclosed businesses, and struggling competitors to increase their overall market share. While the rest of us have to pull ourselves up by our task, literally created as a parody of how impossible a feat it is. You can't lift yourself up by your own bootstraps. And the irony of how that phrase